1 potato, 2 potato, 3 potato, 4, 5 potatoes, 6 potatoes, 7 potato more. Whew, that's a lot of potatoes. I might be here a while. Okay, where was I? Oh, that's right. 1 potato, 2 potato, 3 potato, 4. Well, hello, my fellow noobsters. It's me, Texas PK, and today I'm pretty excited. We got some big developments that are going to be happening. Quite a few things in store for today. First off, I want to show you how the bamboo's coming along. If you remember in our last episodes, we went out exploring and found some bamboo in a sunken ship. I've never done that before, so I was pretty happy that I was able to do that. And you see, I've been planting. Basically, every time I harvested the bamboo, I'd replant it until I have gotten an 8x8 square here behind me filled with bamboo. I've harvested it a couple times already, and if I harvest it again, I should have more than enough bamboo for scaffolding, which I really have been missing in this world, and I'm looking forward to having plenty of scaffolding for me to do my builds. But in addition to that, we're also going to be working on a sorting system, and that's another thing we got in our last episode was the packed ice. It's going to make our water stream system work really great for our sorting system. And finally, I'm also probably going to go through and do a few little touch-ups here and there around town. The scaffolding make part of the changes I'm planning a little easier. And most of this is just little touch-up things I've been planning on doing and just haven't gotten around to. So I figured I'll go ahead and take care of that today. So, before we get started, we'll go ahead and do one more harvest of the bamboo and see exactly how much 64 plants of bamboo will yield. Alright, so I have it all collected now, so let's take a look and see. Oh wow, that's 11 stacks plus of bamboo. I know it grows fast, but that is a lot. That's going to be more bamboo than I need for a long time. Talk about scaffolding. I was planning on making maybe a super mega bamboo farm, but I don't think I'll need to. I could probably get away with making either a manual farm or maybe doing just a small automated farm, and I should be able to have bamboo for days. Alright, well, let's go ahead and take a look. As you can see, I already had almost 9 stacks before, so I'm going to grab some string and we'll craft our first scaffolding in this world. 2+ stacks should be more than enough, I think, to get us started. I can always make more if I need it. It's going to be really great to use this in our builds, but before we do, I probably should go to sleep and we'll get started with doing some of our touch-ups around the base. Okay, so the first place I wanted to start with doing a little bit of touch-up is here at our apothecary potion shop. Really, I kind of like how the outside is, so there really doesn't need to be anything done here. But if we go inside, we see this shopping area is really kind of nice and already decorated, so I don't need to do anything there. Also here in our working area, potion stand and all the other things really look good. But it's upstairs I kind of wanted to add a little something to it. You see, it's just kind of a bland, boring kind of setup here. We do have a desk that they would be working at, but what you need in a desk is you need to have your book with all the notes you're going to put in as you keep track of the different potions and things like that you've been working on. So the notebook here on the desk I think is going to be a great addition. And then over here on our reading table, we need to put a light. That way we won't have to have a torch here on the floor. I just think it just adds that nice little touch. And that's all I wanted to do here in the potion station. So let's go ahead and I'll take you to our next place that needs a little touching up. Okay, here at the library, the exterior is pretty nice, but again, some little details that we might want to add into our library. I think what we might want to do is maybe have a similar kind of thing going on here, put a book on the shelf that someone might have put down. The librarian hasn't gotten around to really picking them up, putting them back on the shelf, so there they are. And then if we come up onto the second floor, maybe putting in different lights here on the sides. I think that just kind of looks nice. Just maybe put a lantern there and there. And then if we come up to the top, I'm going to be putting some librarians here, but in this little cozy reading area, we might want to put a book that someone just put down. Haven't gotten around to putting away it as well. And then maybe putting some lanterns here on the corners just to light it up. That way we're not dealing with a whole bunch of spam torches on the floor. It might be kind of nice to just clean that up that way. Yeah, I think that's it. Except I also kind of don't like the roof. It's too much samey gray stuff going on here. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to come back in and replace it with some polished deep slate stairs. Kind of put a neat little pattern. You'll see what it is, but I think I'll show you that one in a time lapse. So So I'll be right back once that's done. Alright, I think that looks pretty good. I think it adds just a little bit of character to the roof, and the interior looks just as good. Those stripes just kind of give it a nice little semblance of structure, and also just a change of color. Nothing dramatic, something subtle, but I think it looks really good. Alright, so now I have one more last little touch up before we get into our sorting system. So let me take you over to the farm and I'll show you what I'm talking about. I'll see you over there. Alright, we're over here by our wheat farm, our carrot and potato farm, and our farmhouse that we're going to be using for the storage. And what does every farm need besides having plenty of storage? Well, it needs water. It needs a well. So we're going to put in a nice little well right here. So the design I have in mind for this well isn't really anything super big or complicated. Just a nice simple little square well. We're going to need to waterlog our steps. Let me go get some more water. I'll be right back. Now normally you could do an infinite water source, but because these are waterlogging the steps essentially, you can't do that. So you have to just put in one water source into each and every one of these blocks. Next I want to put in some fence posts and make them 2 high. One on opposite corners from each other. And then across the top, I think we're going to want to put a nice little roof. So let me get a little higher up here. And then what we'll do is just kind of, whoops, need to crouch. That's the only thing that's kind of hard to do on scaffolding. If there's anything that I would like to try and do different, would be if it was to make crouching easier on scaffolding. But, you know, it is what it is. So you just go like this, and then come back. And I think it's going to be kind of hard to get there, so let me come over on this side. This is always a little bit tricky. So then this one goes here. And then the last one, like I said, crouch. And I don't think I can get that, so let me see about putting in some scaffolding below me here. Just so I can get a better angle. And put it right there. Ah, perfect. And then just real quick, remove the scaffolding. There we go. Pick that up. Then I think I can finish this real quick before any zombies show up. Okay, I think I want to put a chain right there. And I'd like to put a water bucket somewhere, so I think I'll put it right there. And then all that's left then is to come back in and put in some, I don't know, some cobblestone here. Just to kind of help dress up the area. Something like that. Just a little one like that. And maybe another one here. Another one here. And one right there. Let's do that. And I think that will probably do it for us. Yeah, I think that looks good. Neat little touch, makes it look good, adds a little character to our farm. With that, now what's left is for us to go in and do our sorting system. So let me go to bed real quick and then we'll get to work on putting that in. Be right back once I got a little bit of shut-eye. Well, we're over here now in the root cellar of our farmhouse. And while it's a quaint, cozy little root cellar that might be appropriate for a small farm, it's not going to suit our needs for our storage and sorting system we have planned. We're going to be bringing in all our crops from the wheat farm, the potato and carrot farm, and then future pumpkin and watermelon, maybe other stuff as well. And so we're going to need to clear out a lot of space to put in the redstone, the chests and all the other water streams and things that are going to make this system work well. So what I need to do, first plan of action, is going to be come in here and just dig out a nice big space, probably 5 or 6 blocks deep into each wall. That way we have room to put in all of our components. So I'll go ahead and do that, and I'll come back once the space is cleared out and ready to work with. Alright, so I have the room all dug out and it's ready to start putting in all of our components. You can see it's nice and big and spacious and has kind of an L shape. I decided just to put in chests on 2 of the walls. I can always expand to a 3rd wall if I want to later, but for now 2 should be fine. I'm going to be putting 6 outputs onto each side, and each output is going to feed into 3 double chests. Initially I'm going to be putting 2 outputs per crop, so I'll have 2 for carrots, 2 for potatoes, 2 for wheat, seeds, watermelon, and pumpkins as well. Don't have those farms yet, but I'm planning on those in the near future, so I want to be ready. I'll also have a overflow chest at the end so that if something skips one of its outputs or something that shouldn't fall into the system comes through, be able to cover that and make sure we don't lose it and break the system. And the great thing about the system I'm going to be using is that if I need to change it, it's easy enough. So if I find out that I'm not producing as many pumpkins or watermelons, or if the wheat field just doesn't keep up, I can always reduce the number of outputs going into chests that I need to. But with that, let me go ahead and get started. I'm going to begin by putting in the chests on the one side so I know exactly where to start and stop my redstone components and hoppers, all that good stuff. I'm going to start with putting in my double chests just so I know where to line up all the hoppers and the redstone components. So let me start here on this end, and I'm going to go up 3 chests for each output. And I'm having 6 outputs, so let's go out 6 blocks. 1, 2, 3. There's 6. And then I'll put 3 in for each output. Now that our chests are in place, we just need to have a hopper chain going down into each one of these double chests. I'll start with the bottom and work my way up and across. Okay, hoppers are in place, and now it's time to put in our redstone components. In order to do that, we need to put some blocks across this top row of hoppers. These are the blocks that the comparators are going to sit on. Now, I've mentioned this before, I believe, in other videos, that I like to use, where to go? There it is. I like to use blocks that are not naturally found. So stone bricks are great, but you could use just about anything else that you wouldn't expect to find to do the same effect. I want to be able to know that when I'm digging, I don't accidentally run into these things and break things I shouldn't. And I'm going to be doing a lot of digging with this project, so I really want to make sure it's something that I'm going to recognize. I'm picking stone bricks also because I think it's going to fit in with the rest of it, and part of this is going to be visible, so I want to make sure it looks good as well. Alright, so now I need to put another row of stone bricks on top of this, and make it even with the top row there. And before I add any more, let's go ahead and put our row of repeaters right there. This circuit's going to be using comparators and I don't want the comparator yet. Comparators, repeaters, redstone torches, and redstone dust. There we go. Got 6 across, 1 for each output. Alright, that looks good. And then we want to put another row of blocks above the repeaters. And now it's time to put in the comparators. Again, 1 for each output. There we go. And then I need to put redstone dust on every block behind each comparator leading down to here. Alright. All the redstone dust is in place. I need to put a redstone torch for each output as well. This redstone torch is going to be what's going to lock our sorting system to only allow the appropriate items into each row of hoppers and chests. Alright, it's all looking good. So let me just put in the last component, which is our locking hoppers. Now you're gonna have to crouch here, and I like to put it into the comparator. That way it doesn't actually feed anything. Now you could put temporary blocks on this side over here behind me and feed the hoppers into that and then remove the temporary block. But I like doing it this way. I don't know, just a personal preference. It really doesn't matter. You just want to make sure it doesn't feed down into the hopper below it. Otherwise, locking it won't do any good. It'll just feed in automatically. Now the way it works is this top hopper is the locking hopper. If there is this, it will only send in items into that hopper if it's unlocked. This comparator will detect that there is the appropriate number of items to unlock it, send a signal through the redstone dust, hit the repeater, which powers the block touching the redstone torch. If the redstone torch is normally on, but when it receives a signal, it will turn it off, which unlocks this hopper. That's the basic idea anyways behind this system. I'll go into a little more detail when we put our placeholders and items into our locking hopper in just a little bit. But right now I'm going to go ahead and put in the other 6 outputs on the other side of our storage system. I'll be back with you as soon as that's done. All of our chest hoppers and redstone components are in place, so now we just need to put our blocks into the locking mechanism. This is going to filter out any item that's not in these 5 slots. So I'm going to put in a placeholder into each one of them, because the hopper below will not unlock unless there's 46 items. So I'm going to put one of each of these smooth stone slabs, because these should not enter our sorting system at all. And then I'm going to put in 41 carrots. You notice I put 42 and the extra one went down. Let me put placeholders and another carrot in here. I don't have another 41, but that's okay. As it fills up, it will go through. These are the only items this hopper will take. And because of the comparator circuit behind it, unless it has 46 items, it won't have enough signal strength to get all the way through the 3 redstone dust to our repeater, which will then unlock the mechanism like we described before. Now all I have to do is go through and do the same thing in each one of these hoppers, putting them in for potatoes, wheat, seeds, watermelon, and pumpkin. So let me do that and we'll be right back. All the hoppers are set. Now all that's left is to put in the water streams. In order to keep the water from spilling everywhere, I'm going to just put these walls in on either side of all the hoppers just to channel the water through. Once I get to the end, I'm going to need to put a corner in here, and I'm going to be using the packed ice I collected in the previous episode just to make it really slippery. The items will really just glide across this packed ice a long way. In order to turn the corner, though, I'll also need to put a water source and a button to block the water from turning the corner, if you will, so where only the items as they pass by will get pushed by that water stream. But I'm going to go ahead and finish putting in our packed ice and all the walls. I'll also have to dig some tunnels to get to the different farms in order to channel them all here to our storage area. So I'll get back with you as soon as that's all in place. Our tunnels are dug and our water streams are mostly in place. All we have to do now is get the items from our farms to our storage area. Now the way we're going to do that is we're going to be using a auto dropper. So all we have to do is hook up some hoppers from our output chest from the farm into that auto dropper, and I'm going to be using an observer clock to make this work as quick as possible. But it's still going to be faster than our hopper, so I'm going to be using 2 hopper lines, one from each of the outputs, one from carrots, one from potatoes. In order to activate this circuit, though, we're going to need a comparator, so I'm going to put one of those out of the back of our dropper. As long as there's an item in the dropper, the comparator will be activated. So now we need to put in a repeater, and like I said, our hoppers aren't going to be able to keep up with our observer clock, so I'm going to put it on a maximum 4-tick delay. That way it'll have a chance to put as many items into the dropper before the circuit's activated, and it can have a chance to keep up. Let's put a sticky piston here. What's going to happen is the signal will go from the repeater into the sticky piston when there's an item in there, and it'll activate. Oh, I always put these in backwards the first time. It'll activate the sticky piston, which will lower an observer into this observer. An observer clock is basically where when 2 observers face each other, they keep updating each other, and so it makes a very rapid clock signal on the output. So I'm going to put it here so that it won't activate until that sticky piston is lowered. Yep, I put it in the right way. I always like to double check. Now all we have to do is put in a redstone torch over on this side here. Oh, you heard it. The dropper activated. So every time these 2 observers cycle, it will activate on and off that redstone torch. Now I just need to get out. Yes, I just put those there. Oh well. I'm going to dig my way out, and we'll do a quick test and see if it's working. Okay, so all we have to do to see if it works is to put a hopper into the dropper from both of our outputs, and look at that, it is flying. Carrots and potatoes are just coming out faster than you can count. This is pretty cool. Now I enjoy coming up with my own designs for redstone circuits, so this is one that I came up with. It could be similar to other ones that are out there. I know that I learned about observer clocks by watching a redstone tutorial, but the overall design for this auto hopper is one that I came up with. I really like it, and it's pretty reliable. It's a little noisy, but it's okay. I think all auto droppers are. But that being said, all I need to do now is go put one in for our wheat farm, and I'll do the exact same circuit, and it should be good to go. Alright, so all of our farms are now connected to our storage system. I'm pretty excited, and it is moving fast. It's really working well. Let me go ahead and just give you a quick look into our chest and see how far it's come in just a short little while that it's been running. Alright, as we come over here to our carrots, you can see it's already filled up 1 full double chest, plus half of another double chest, plus the hoppers that are behind it are all full as well. When we come over to our potatoes, another double chest, and plus half of another one. When we come to the wheat, it's already nearly a full double chest. Now our seeds are coming along pretty good. We have a stack and a half of that already. Those aren't very fast. Might reduce that down to a single line instead of double. Our pumpkins, I don't really have that many. I mainly threw in a few, but there's not much. Same thing with watermelon. There's a few coming in, but those are ones I manually harvested. We'll eventually get to having an auto farm. Our overflow, you can see a few of them were going faster than the system could handle, so we got a few extra carrots, potatoes, and even 1 wheat got through. But other than that, it's been working really great. I really love sorting systems. They're really fun to build, and I'm pretty proud of how this one turned out. What can I say? Redstone is just kind of fun to do. But I think that's going to be it for this episode. I hope you liked it. I hope you had fun. If you did, make sure you do all those things you're supposed to do. And I hope to see you again in the next one. But until then, I'm Texas PK. Be good to each other. Bye.